Hey guys, welcome to Love, Life, and Politics, where I talk about love, life, and mostly politics. Per usual, links and descriptions below to the people that I keep up with, as well as my subscribe star if you want to support the channel and help it grow. Anyways, let's just get to business. Three things that have happened this week, the major things that I saw that happened this week were: number one, Trump signing a peace deal with Israel, the UAE, and Bahrain. The Cuties causing a max exodus of Netflix, and two officers being shot unprovoked this weekend. All right, let's talk about what happened. The first thing I want to talk about is the peace deal. Trump is doing his thing, and I was watching the Liberal Hive Mind, and he did it. He explained it really well. He pointed out how tough it was for these people to have to objectively talk about this amazing and historic peace deal. Having to watch CNN have to report on this without any spin was amazing. Again, I saw just mostly snippets, because at work, come home, see what I can see, watch what I can watch. And the fact that, and these people, and I don't know, I hope, well, I don't know if it was just the Trump administration being like, hey, make sure you spice it up and make sure that Trump himself gets a lot of the credit, or because these people really do credit him, which I think is justifiable. I do think that Trump himself has revolutionized, I would say, the Republican Party, because it's no longer about the establishment having the normal stuff. He came in, and I think he's the one that got things moving in the direction that he saw fit, and it ended up working out. So, two Muslim states and Israel normalizing relations. Peace deal. This is crazy. And what most people are hoping will happen from this is that more other countries that, are normally hostile to Israel will see, whoa, these people are making money. Like, they're people becoming wealthy. You know what? Bump all this crazy religious want to blow up Israel stuff. Let's just make money together. And at that point, I do think other relations will continue to get better, because we beat the crap out of the British, and then now we best friends, we homies. We it wasn't based on religion, so to speak, at all. Actually, yes, because they left. The colonists came over here because of blah blah blah. You understand the history. They wanted to be able to be a little bit more free, not have the king be like right next door, essentially forcing them down their throats, like the Catholic religion and whatnot. That's a big reason on why they came over here. But after we beat them, we ended up being, we both can mutually benefit from having trade and having commerce and making one another wealthy. And look at us now. If that could happen in the Middle East, my goodness, the world would be in such a better place. And sorry for kind of going on a tangent, Trump brought that to fruition, at least the first steps of that. And the world was forced to have to acknowledge that. The people who have been hating on him, saying that he was going to cause World War III, are now forced to acknowledge, yeah, this is Trump. He did that. He definitely did that. And other people were trying to kind of piggyback off of that. And he honestly, I think he must have, somehow, some way, they must have understood that they need to give Trump the credit, because they were pressing it that it was Trump who made this happen so hard, to the point that it's like, sorry, Nancy, any of you old school people were in the previous administration, you can't take credit for it, because these people here who are the ones that are making this peace deal are giving Trump the credit. You can't take an ounce of it. Second thing that happened, this has kind of been ongoing for a couple of weeks now, is Cuties finally was released, and the public essentially blew up. How the controversy started is poster was made for the movie, and it was having all these young girls in suggestive poses, and people didn't like that. And Netflix tried to run screen and be like, hey, listen, this is wrong. We didn't post it. This is not what the movie's about. And then they ended up, the movie came out and people were livid. Even if their argument is they're trying to bring attention to this and trying to bring awareness to this and show how bad it is in culture. If you have to exploit kids to try to send out the message that it's not good to exploit kids, you're dumb and you're stupid. You are the problem. Because from now on, if they let this type of stuff slide, every single film that is using children in a sexual nature will definitely use that excuse. We're just critiquing. You open the door for one and the floods come out. And then where do you draw the line? Like, from what I've somewhat seen, because I'm sorry, I didn't even attempt to watch the full thing. I just watched pieces of what could be, what people were saying this is tolerable, and then they explained the more vulgar sides. That shouldn't be something that's on the US. And we're not pro censorship, but you are exploiting minors in order to make this material. That should not be posted. Okay? If all these people were 18 years old, that's a different story. They're legal consenting adults. Okay? Now, 9 to 11-year-olds, having them in sexual poses while grown men are recording this, and this will be on their record for the world to see for the rest of their lives, is absolutely moronic and, in my opinion, child abuse. I put this in the same bucket as these people that want to gender transition their kids because one day they said they wanted to be a boy, even though they don't even fully understand the concept of gender. It's absolutely horrible. And Netflix a lot of subscribers have exited that, and they had a huge stock dip, but the entire market was going down that for that stretch. So we can't say that it was because of this or because of that directly, because other companies who did not do this dumb stuff also were going into the red. So besides that, but people have left, and I hope it's a permanent leave, and I hope more people do leave, because we need to make sure that, I know that this country has moved into a very negative light, okay? It all started with legalizing gay marriage. Me, again, how I feel about it. I don't care that you do it. Why are you trying to label it marriage when it has, I would say forever, been between, it's something that has been a Christian Jewish type situation, and now you're trying to essentially, what's the word they like to use when you appropriate it for themselves, even though the root has said is between a man and a woman. So in terms of that, okay. But now if you want to be in a civil union, I don't care. And what will make me more mad than anything else is if you go into a church and have a pastor marry you. That is essentially putting a middle finger into God's face. Okay, because marriage is a very major thing when it's between between a man, a woman, and God. That's how God intended it, and to do that, especially in the scenery of a church, it disgusts me. Anyways, it started off with that, and then all this other stuff. Men can be women going into men bathroom, men going into the girls' bathroom. All that stuff all started with just a little bit, and I feel like if we give them an inch with this and let this slide, it's just going to get worse and worse. We keep on forfeiting the right way of life to the other side because we don't want to hurt people's feelings. What is right is right. What is wrong is wrong. And yes, there is room for it. That's how you live versus that's how I live when it comes to like the gay marriage thing. Cool. I have my lines, and I'm not going to go into where they're living to tell them that that's not what they want to do. Because if they want to walk with God, they can stop that. If they don't, I'm not going to force religion upon them. But don't you come into my church and do that trash. And also, don't you start trying to get the government to revoke tax exemption status for churches who won't perform something that is blatantly against what is in the Bible. So that's that. Cuties is just showing how horrible our culture is, but it's also showing how some people are willing to forego Netflix in order to send a message to them, and that's the light. There's some light in that. And the third thing is 2 officers just straight shot in the end. Right now, I heard that they're all right. They're not dead at this point. Some short guy comes up and shoots 2 cops. They're just sitting there posted, not bothering anybody, and he comes in and shoots them both. And then BLM gathers outside of the hospital, calling them pigs and trying to prevent people from getting in and saying, yeah, we wish you die, and saying to the cops that are there, you're next. This is what is what our world has come to. You've ceded the ground to these people now that you've allowed them to take these incremental steps and said, this is okay. This is okay. This is okay. This is okay. And even when they were rioting, you would not call them out. And do not be surprised when something like this happens, when you have allowed people to get the idea in their head that they're immune to any consequences of violence or absolutely horrid actions. This is horrible. One of them was a mother, a mom that you shot. F you. When they find this person, I hope they execute him. I could care less what his background is. I could care less what kind of crazy things have happened in his life. You go and shoot 2 cops who have done nothing to you, literally sitting in their cop car, minding their own business. You need to go. Period. Bar none. And I place partial blame on Democrats. Why? Is it because I'm a Republican? No. Because they have not been pressing on these issues. They've been keeping it quiet because they know it hurts them politically. It hurt Trump politically to be for law enforcement, especially right after the George Floyd thing. But he stuck to it because he knew it was right. He knew it was right, and he did the right thing regardless of what the polls were saying would get him the election or would do him better or wouldn't hurt him as much. He stayed consistent with that. And now, instead of him changing his ideas just to win the election, he stayed firm in what he believed in terms of law and order, and the rest of the population, as they saw and were given more information, they saw, yes, he's right. Law and order since day one. Yes, our police systems need to be fixed. I think they need to be way better trained, be able to handle taking people down without using weapons. I'm cool with that. All of that. 100%. But dismembering it, completely attacking cops who are doing their jobs out there trying to defend us, who put their lives on the risk, their lives in risk on the day-to-day to help us out. And they, trust me, they ain't getting paid like what you call those private contractors in the military, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? They're not getting paid boatloads of money to do what they're doing, but they're doing it because it's a calling. And yes, there's bad apples. But this right here, I blame this on people who have been giving space and root for these types of violent and negative mindsets and violent and negative views of cops to persist and not doing any pushback. And labeling anybody who does have pushback to all that cop hating, BLM stuff, labeling them racist. That is your fault. That's on you 100%. But anyways, those are 3 major things that have happened this week. Thank you for listening. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, great rest of your weekend. I hope you have a blessed one. Stay safe.